Learn from stars and heroes of the Dubai business world. Welcome to the Dubai Business Podcast, produced by Jayed. Now, here's your host, Lucas Krejcia.
Hi everyone, how are you feeling today? A bit unusual question in a podcast, right? But it is such an important thing we often don't pay attention to. Today I'm speaking with a person who helps her clients to feel better. Shirley D'Souza from Keto Coach DXB is a lifestyle nutritionist coach, and whether it is losing weight, helping with their cholesterol, or fertility, she simply helps her clients to change their lifestyle to feel better about themselves. And when you check her Instagram, Keto Coach DXB, you can find she gets great results with this approach. Shirley left her corporate job to do what she really loves, and she turned that into a successful business. In this episode, we speak about what it takes to make such a huge step, how she managed to get new clients, or what you need to do to start your new business out of your hobby. Shirley, welcome to Dubai Business Podcast. Thank you for making time for this episode. I would like to start with listening about your journey. How did you become the lifestyle nutritionist coach?
Firstly, thank you for going and having me. And so I'm Shirley D'Souza from Keto Coach DXB. And I started this journey. I've been a coach now for about 3 years. And I started the journey because I myself had over 30 kilos to go and lose. And my first 4 years ago, there wasn't anything, there wasn't many keto coaches in the region. So I went and hired a coach internationally. And she's the one who helped me to identify my body chemistry and how keto would work for my body type. And I realized there was a lot more to it. And when I started losing a lot of weight, a lot of my friends were asking me how I did it. And I kept going back to my coach. And she's the one who said, she was an instructor at an institute. And she advised me to, why don't I go, since I'm so curious about it, why don't I try it? And that's how I began my journey in learning. And it got me more interested by word of mouth from the people that I was helping. It expanded, and I went on to get 2 more certifications where I help people as well with ailments, fertility, cholesterol, diabetic issues, because nutritional keto works different for each person based on their body type.
Amazing. So basically you turned your hobby into what's your job nowadays. How was that shift?
It was a big shift because I come from a very corporate background and I used to travel a lot. I had the expense credit card, the security of a salary, yearly bonuses, commissions, etc. But I find this job a lot more rewarding. It's much more longer hours because obviously when you work for yourself, and because I do daily monitoring, I do the mentoring, the coaching, I guide my clients throughout the day. So it's a lot more hours, but when the results are there, it's not only about the weight loss, it's about the confidence that someone is getting or the health that they've regained back, fertility issues, and a lot of keto babies out there. It is a lot more rewarding for sure.
Absolutely. What was the or was there maybe some turning point when you decided to quit your previous job and start on your own?
When I started getting referrals of clients that I didn't know, it expanded from just friends of friends and then friends of strangers. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, and I was already midway between my 3rd certification at that point, and I was like, okay, I am enjoying this. And so that's when I got registered about 2 years ago in UAE, and they opened up the health coach license at that point as well. So I was like, okay, that's a sign. It's now there available in DED and stuff. So I ventured into it. I stopped all of my other projects that I was working on. It was scary, but I was like, okay, if I'm I am enjoying doing what I'm doing, and it was it was really enjoyable, and I was like, okay, let's do a try of this. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's been working since then, right? So I know about many people who maybe have the similar thoughts that they have some hobby and they are thinking, or they are maybe already earning some little money with that hobby, but they are not sure how to make that big step and make it the main source of income or make it their business. What would you advise how to push away those fears and make that big step?
So like, no matter what business or what career or anything anyone goes and chooses, if it's something that someone goes and has a passion for, the money is going to follow, right? And when you have a passion for something, then you do the research. What is the market strength? What are the main things? What is your USP? Um, what is the directives? Are you like, part of something else, another organization, or are you independent completely? It is intimidating and scary to go and venture out on your own. But if it's something that you truly believe in, and if you believe in what it is and you're passionate about what it is, that project, then it is going to succeed because you're going to put in all of your efforts to make that succeed, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Again, if we look back, what was the first, or do you remember the first moment when you first charged for your coaching?
So in the beginning, I didn't go and charge for my coaching, to be honest. I was like, experimenting with my friends and relatives, anybody who was willing, because I needed that anyway for my course. And then it was like word of mouth, and I was like, okay, no, I'm like busy. And then like, no, please, like, take me on as a client, please coach me and I'll pay you. And this was a friend of a friend, and that's how it began. And I accepted like whatever she wanted to go and pay me, and yes, she got me an expensive gift at the end of it. And that's what I was like, okay, I should keep a charge because it does take time. And then I was doing more research in terms of like, okay, what how much is my time, what is the output, what is it that can I offer to the clients, what is the sweet spot for them, what are the different avenues in that aspect. So yeah, so again, so that's why I say like when someone is passionate about something is to do the business research behind it. So yeah, so that's how I started charging for clients. Really, it's like they started offering me this thing, and that's when I said, okay, it's not only a hobby, this is something that can be a business.
It's becoming serious, right?
Yeah.
So, would you have any advice to people who are actually not sure how to charge for their service? And there might be nutrition coaches, there might be personal trainers, there might be any type of freelancers who they are just not sure how to price their business at the beginning. If it should be per hour, per project, or it might be different in any other vertical.
So I think like, it's first of all to be flexible in terms of the offerings. So in terms of like if some like something to suit everyone's budget, but then still to go and have an interest, and never give out. Obviously, you give out free information because I do give out like free consultations and everything because I rather someone goes and does the keto diet regularly, like healthy. And this has although they might not be a client, they have spoken about me, they've referred me to someone who's really interested and probably someone who can afford me, and because they know that I'm being honest and straightforward in offering that consultation or why they can do it. It's not that people can't do it on their own. It's also about people understanding their body chemistry, right? So when someone is trying to figure out how much, no matter what they're trying on their one-to-one business, is obviously find out what the market is charging and then feedback from your existing clients. And they might go and say, oh, but you're offering this extra and you give this, so you can afford to go and charge more. Or you can limit it and go and charge slightly less for less time that is output. So having a variety in your package just suits everyone's budget, and then having a unique USP can make you go and stand out. So it doesn't mean that you have to charge exactly what someone else is charging. You can charge slightly more if you feel you have a very unique USP. We can charge slightly less because you want to venture out in the market and offer that promotion.
So probably what I hear, speaking to your clients, both the current ones and the prospective ones, is the most important to gather that feedback where you are in a price spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned one interesting thing when you were speaking about your own journey to keto, that there's a lot of content nowadays out there on Google, and many people try to get on a keto journey themselves. What's the kind of typical mistakes they do when they try to do it themselves compared to when they try to do it with a coach like yourself?
Okay, so number one mistake is that people think keto is a very high fat diet. So they keep on going and adding a lot of fat. They add like the bulletproof coffee and a lot of butter, cream, cheese into their diet, which goes and increases your cholesterol as well. So the reason why keto is a high fat diet is because 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, while 1 gram of protein is 3 calories. So your ratio is all, but it's also the type of fat that you're going and eating. So overdoing it in terms of cheese and butter is not going to help you lose weight. It might lose weight initially, but then you're doing a very Atkins way of doing it. You're not doing it in terms of your health perspective. So if someone is venturing it out on their own, they need to go and see, okay, where are they getting their source of fat from? Number one. Number two, it's not about adding fat unnecessary into the diet, because that can cause cholesterol, acidity, gut health issues. And the reason why someone would come to me is because they have issues with cholesterol or type 2, or they want to do the keto, but they want to do it the right way. Because as you went and said, there's a lot of information on Google and everything contradicts the other one, and there's no person that's actually wrong. And that's why it comes down that keto is based on an individual. So each website that you go, the person is saying that this worked for them. It worked for them, and it does go and work, and it might work for 50% of the population, right? But doesn't mean that the next 50 does go and work. It's because it's based on your body individuality. What are the things that go and trigger? So some clients can't go and handle cheese, so they do a very paleo version of keto. Some clients can't handle eggs because of the ancestors. A lot of the French, Italian, they're intolerant to either the egg yolk or the egg white. So those factors that we go and keep in mind, the ancestors and how their parents used to go and eat, what ailments are there in their family history are trigger points. Like, so for me, my dad is diabetic. As a girl, we go and tend to take after our father's ailments. So I was insulin resistant before starting keto. So triggers are there in terms of the types of sugars that I would eat or the carbs that I would eat, nightshade vegetables because of our heritage again. So those are the type of things that you would learn about your body while doing a coach.
Absolutely. So it's about getting the tailored advice rather than some generic advices which are available out there.
Yes.
Perfect. Can you take us through who are your typical clients nowadays and how you're getting to them?
Okay, so nowadays, obviously, there's a lot of people who are coming out of the lockdown and who have gained a lot of weight. So yeah, and their energy is low because a lot of the clients, all of us were stuck indoors. We weren't getting a lot of sunlight, so this was affecting their vitamin D, and vitamin D is really important in terms of the gut health. So they're not feeling their best. They have very indigestion, a lot of bloating. So now the clients that are coming with me are those who have gained, and not only that they've gained, they're not feeling their best. It's not that they feel like, okay, a regular diet is going to go and help them. It's like, how do they reverse this, boost their energy, get the vitamin D, lower their cholesterol from the stress of everything that's happened. So these are my typical clients right now. Most of the time I get my clients through referrals. So it's good that there is a little bit of ease in the market so people can go and see the clients that have lost weight, and or doctors that I work with who recommend me as well to go and assist their clients in terms of lowering like their type 2 levels, hypertension levels, and even cholesterol. So yeah, and then I have a mix of both male and female clients.
Okay. Well, you mentioned for a few times already word of mouth or referrals you're getting as a main source of business you have nowadays. Now, it's a bit tricky question, but would you say you are doing something special to kind of get those referrals or to activate this word of mouth? Of course, next to you're doing a great job with your clients and that's why they recommend you in the first place. But are you trying to somehow accelerate this word of mouth, let's say?
No, but it is honestly, it is something that I've been thinking about, especially because the clients are not going out as much to go and assist and probably do a give back or an extra time duration or anything. But it is something that I'm thinking about. But no, the thing is like honestly, like I've been blessed because as I went and said in the beginning, if you're passionate about something and you really put your heart and soul into something, so my objective is to go and help that client to achieve that, whether it's weight loss or the health, because weight loss is a byproduct of a healthy body. So once they know that I'm focusing so much on their health and how they are going and working, and they're happy about the way that I'm working with them, they're quite happy to go and refer me. So passion in what you do, I think, is really important. And I think that becomes contagious with your clients. And then they are passionate to talk about you as well.
Mm-hmm. I believe the other important channel for you is social media, especially your Instagram profile,
Yeah.
where you're sharing things. So can you take us through it, how you as basically a freelancer or one woman business, how you approach social media and how you benefit from it?
Okay, so I think so for me, I don't do a lot of social media because I'm one person. So I do hire freelancers now and again. And I would say Facebook is a really good source of referrals for me because there are smaller communities um, and groups that are a lot of female friendly. So when someone goes and complains about their weight or other issues, my clients go and do referrals, or I will refer and pass on my site. And that's where my Instagram comes on board. And what I do is I'm able to post like either scale pics of like before and after measurements, differences, how my clients looked before, how they look now. And I think that is what inspires a lot of people. Everyone, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So by maintaining my social media in terms of communicating what has been my success, and I post like very realistic, like sometimes somebody loses more inches over their kilos, they look like a different person. So it's not only focusing on that, it's focusing on other health aspects. I put before and after medical reports as well. And this goes and helps when I'm using both the platforms together.
Okay, so using those real life examples kind of helps you, let's say, prove that your work brings results to clients, and do you see that has the biggest response?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You were telling me you have some nice success story or your favorite success story with one of your clients. Can you tell us about it, please?
Yes. So one of my best success stories is a client out of New Zealand. So I deal with clients around the globe since most of my work is virtual. And this is a client that is based out of New Zealand. It is mentioned in my Instagram. She was 42 years old at that point, and she had polycystic ovaries, and she got like hormonal issues. And she had ovarian drilling and blood cancer as well. And she was always told that she wouldn't be able to go and have a child and IVF would be very, very difficult for her. Like that's the only route and option that she would have, and it would be really expensive because it wouldn't work from the first try. Um, so I went and told her, like, first let's go and work on your health issues regarding about her PCOS. She had hypertension at that point, and she started on my group. We started like working with her, and roughly 12 weeks into the program, we even found out she was pregnant, which she was not expecting. And she's delivered a baby girl last year in May. So yes, this year in May, she delivered a baby girl as well at 43.
Nice, such a nice story. All right, Shirley, I would like to get back now a little bit to your business and to your own journey, because I found it extremely inspiring, and I think many of our listeners can actually learn from it. What would you say were the biggest struggles on your journey so far?
The biggest struggle is like, obviously, when you work for somebody else, you have the guarantee of the salary that's coming in and the income that's coming in. In my line of work, it's up, down. So obviously quarantine wouldn't hit me. Festive seasons is going to hit me. That's when business does go and slow down. So when I was starting out and venturing, obviously not having enough clients is an issue. And obviously I'm always, I'm happy with the clients that I go and have. But then obviously once I go and finish and I achieve that goal weight with the client, it's about getting the next client, right? So that's why I am on that aspect of thinking, okay, how do I make sure I keep on going and getting referrals? And I'm constantly innovating in terms of how I do my program. How do I change my price structure? What is my offerings or what people have done? So my portfolio has expanded on that level. And I went into for further training as well in terms of like primal and whole food to go and cater how to go and people once they reach their goal weight through keto, and they do it in terms of their cultural preferences, that they want to include rice or the quinoa, etc., into their diet. How do they do that without gaining the weight back, right? And so that's where primal and whole food, the training that I did, comes into handy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's constantly learning, it's constantly expanding. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned the low seasons. Every business probably has some seasonality, but I can expect that for you it can be pretty strong. So how you're preparing for those low seasons when you know that, for example, festive season is coming? What do you do to ensure that you still have enough business?
So right now, like for the summer, during this period, I've offered a discount on my rate, right? And that is something that I went and did. I've given more information in terms of what it is that I've provided, because I am licensed as well as certified, and there are a lot of people out there who are not and charging much more less. Right. So it is difficult when someone goes and comes and says, oh, I'm getting something for this rate. I just have to turn it down and stand my ground and honestly believe in what it is that I'm doing. So that is tough. So during the down seasons and for situations like this, I do go and give like a discount, knowing what the market is, but I don't go extremely low where I'm undermining myself for what it is that I'm offering either.
Okay. Well, especially in our region where kind of bargain is part of the culture, or sometimes for some people, I feel it's their favorite sport to bargain on a price. How do you find confidence actually to turn people down and say, no, these are my boundaries and I'm not going beyond that?
So I've attended a lot of like, when you startup businesses, conferences and webinars and everything. And one thing they always go and say is like, believe in yourself, right? I don't have time to go and waste. And I think a lot of the small businesses don't have time to go and waste going back and forth in terms of negotiating. So I'm I'm very transparent with my rates because like obviously it's word of mouth. So I stick to my rate card and the discounts during that period as religiously as possible. I would say 99% of the time I do. And sometimes, yes, I do go and ask a client, okay, like, why aren't you continuing? And if they go and tell me the price and I go and ask them, what is the price that they're looking for? Then what I do is I change my offering of what it is that I'm giving them. So instead of doing the daily coaching, I would do it as a weekly coaching, as a setup to go and suit their budget. So it's a different offering altogether, to match what it is that they want out of it, because I realize that they're keen to go and do it. They want to go and pay, but what I'm charging is out of their budget. So I change my offerings accordingly.
Okay, great. I like the approach. Again, can be inspiration to other people who are struggling with. Another thing you mentioned that you're, if I get it right, that you're thinking how to maybe make your cooperation with the clients longer, more long term, because now, as you said, once you reach the call with a client, usually the kind of cooperation stops and you move on to another client. So is the shift to or adding the whole food certification or orientation kind of move on this way to upsell your current client base?
It's a temporary upsell because like it's more of their transition. But I think I like that. So I do online focus groups. So I have clients who come back to me, like, they feel like, okay, we want that accountability where we're like reporting to you and we're doing it. So I do like a Facebook private group where my clients do return back, they refresh the educational material, because I provide daily educational material on that. So they come back again when they want that alignment, but not necessarily like the expensive package. And I do give a discount for them to renew on the focus groups as they go and come, if they do go and come back. But ideally, my goal is to go and help as many people as possible. So I like the fact of working with different people and expanding that. And I think, it's a great accomplishment to go and say, okay, fine, like, a client has completed their journey with me. They have become healthy. They've reached their weight loss goal, and they're going out on their own, because part of my program is not only going and helping them lose the weight, is also changing their relationship with food and how do they manage it in Dubai with brunches and going out and dining and, alcohol. How do they manage this and still manage to go and keep the weight off and keep it off permanently while still enjoying a good social life?
Okay, amazing. You mentioned earlier that most of your job is happening remotely. That became reality for most of us in the past months. How did you find this time? Did anything change for you? Were maybe clients more ready for the remote consultations, or did you
I
find
was
any change
always
in this area?
remote. So I was always remote anyway. The only thing that's changed that normally before I used to meet a lot of my clients one-to-one before we actually start our journey. And obviously that's changed now to a lot more Zoom calls. My clients internationally, like in London or New Zealand or other countries across the GCC, are like, they're very comfortable with Zoom or Botem, and we used to go and talk. I think the thing is, like, now people are much more inclined to go and do virtual and remote training than before. So they're more open to it. While initially when I was offering, it's not something everyone considered easily, but it was something that was already adapting in my private Facebook groups. Someone who's overweight or has health issues are already lacking in confidence, so they don't really want to meet right up front, and so it's something that worked out really easily for me. So that way it didn't change for me. This lockdown period didn't change in my communication with my client. It just gave me a lot more opportunity for virtual conversations.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Shirley, what do you say is next for you? How you're thinking about your business now, let's say in next 1 year, what are the new things you would like to introduce to your clients or things you would like to change?
So the thing that I would like to go and change is I think I would want to, I don't know whether it's going to be possible, but I'm working over here like from a clinic, and I want to be like one of those travel, because it's like, as I went and said, I have international clients from the UK and from other places. So I work weekends and throughout. So the only way I think to go and enjoy life is probably a traveling coach, where I'm working 1 month in a different country, and then I come back to the UAE, go visit another country, go and consult, and then go and come back. And that's something that I'm looking to do probably, inshallah, next year. So yeah.
Okay, so Keto DXB will become Keto International.
Yes.
Okay, fingers crossed for that. Well, in the end, can you maybe sum it up in some takeaway? What would be your advice to people who are on a similar or who have a similar hobby and really would like to make it their business now? What would be your main advice they should take out from this conversation?
I would go and say that don't expect anything to go and be perfect when you begin. I'm still learning in terms of like my communications, in terms of what can I do that can give a better offering to my client? How do I keep standing out? So don't expect everything to be perfect from day one. Start with passion, start with the basics, and just start venturing out to the clients, and the rest of the things will just start building. So it doesn't take time or a genius to go and do Instagram, or doing social media, or going out there and going and saying, this is what I'm doing. Would you like to go and hire me or put myself there? Don't stop. Don't be intimidated by it. Right? And start small and you just grow big. So, yeah.
Great. I think it's a very well ending of this inspirational conversation. Thank you very much, Shirley, for it, and fingers crossed.
Thank you. Thank you again, Lucas, for going and having me. It has been a pleasure. And hopefully I inspire someone else as well out there.
Starting business is not an easy thing. Well, I started 2 companies in the middle of a global pandemic, so I might know a thing or two about it. But if you really listen to Shirley and follow your passion, I believe you can make it work. I hope this episode will inspire you to make that huge step. Let us know via email podcast@jayid.co what other topic would you like to listen to, so we help you to get your dream business started. And that will be it today. On behalf of our producer Arshak Ismail, thank you for listening. Stay positive and we will talk to you very soon.
This was the Dubai Business Podcast, produced by Jayid. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform and on social media at jayid.co/podcast. That's JAYID.co/podcast.